Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Yo, check it out. 4Extra blows his hand up, playing with fireworks. 607 Unk says he is responsible because of a ritual that he did to get back at him for what he did to him on No Jumper, from what he said on No Jumper, and they met up when 607 had no intention of meeting up with him, thought that he could duck like everyone else per what he said, but this is what it is. So we just gonna break it down, keep it 100. Pay attention to this story because we're gonna get really deep into this. All right. All right, so we're going to keep it here and we're going to ride this out because it's a special news break. So check it out. I'm going to break it down so you understand this real simple and plain. This brother, 4Extra, had some things said about him that, was disrespectful. He confronted the brother at No Jumper. It got out of hand. He threatened him. He balled his fists up and, bop, bop, bop. And from all that going on now, I really wish I could show you the video, but I don't want to show you the video. I just want you to understand how powerful this is. You got to know who you fighting with and who you choosing to fight with. That's why it's best not to even get in a fight. You can't bring, a gun to a spiritual fight, period. So that's where we at right now. Right now, 607 Unk is saying that he's the one that did the ritual because, a matter of fact, right, the brother, 4X, was just celebrating 4th of July. Let me show y'all he was celebrating 4th of July so y'all can see that. Hold up, man. Let's get this right before we get this mic. Let me turn this down a little bit. All right, now, this is how he was celebrating 4th of July, right?
Vernon Avenue, you know, then you know. On Vernon Avenue, if you know, then you know. On Vernon Ave, if you know, then you know. On Vernon Ave, if you know, then you know. If you know, then you know. I'm about to blow somebody else up tonight. I'm about to blow somebody else up. I'm gonna throw this to blow somebody else up. I don't know who else I'm gonna blow up, but I'm blowing somebody else up.
Do you hear this? This is what he's saying. This the energy that he's putting out there. And at that same time he's putting that energy out there, they said that this brother here, the other brother on the screen, 607, this is what he was doing while he was doing that. He was walking on his way to prepare a ritual to get even with 4Extra. That's him right there on the screen so you understand. He's out there and he's not wearing no flip-flops. He's barefooted, connecting with the earth, and they say that he's doing a ritual. So now, do you believe that he did a ritual on 4Extra? Put that in the comments and let me know what you think of that. But with all this going on, they said that he made this video. He didn't say a word at the exact same time when 4Extra was walking through the joint. You know what I mean? Doing this.
On Vernon Avenue, I'm blowing something up. Yeah, Vernon Avenue. You see this Vernon Ave.
See, that's the energy that 4Extra had at that time. And then this is the energy that he had at that time. And they're both at war. Two different weapons, two different ideologies, two different concepts of a war. But we don't need to be at war with each other. Because now there's going to be so many videos made on the voodoo and the obra, and people are going to take it all kinds of ways. But let me say this, right? I'm going to give you a story early. We're going to take a ride. Because I know a lot of y'all sit there and say, I don't believe it. It can't happen. It can't happen. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to speak on if I believe it or not. I'm just going to tell you some stories I heard from my old age growing up, right? So check it out, right? There was this one woman that was in Jamaica. She was seeing another woman's man. She got pregnant. He went to America and was supposed to be saving his money to send back for his wife, but instead the money he saved, he sent back for the pregnant mistress. The pregnant mistress is on the way to the airport, and as she's walking up that little ladder to go into the airplane, she goes into labor. They rushes her back to the hospital. They deliver the baby. The baby came out a physical rat. A rat. And they said that the doctors held the baby down with those two little thongs that looked like popsicle stick. Said he held that rat baby down, and the rat baby cried like a human being. That's what you call our Obra story out of America. Do you believe that? Put it in the comments. Let's get some things on that. So now that's just an example because we ride. But now we're going to ride back to 607 Unc and 4 Extra. 607 Unc, right, what they say is he was sitting out there in the wilderness connecting with his ancestors and doing a ritual. Anybody ever seen Amistad? Remember Amistad when he was going to trial? You know, the Africans that want to, being brought here, but they escaped before they got to America. And being they escaped before they got to America, they went to court to see if they could get their freedom because they never made it to America. So therefore, they didn't violate the laws. And I think Morgan Freeman played in that. But the dude told Morgan, right, my ancestors are protecting me. Morgan didn't understand it because now he was a house trigger. He totally Americanized. Never even heard of none of that. Probably don't even know what part of Africa his family was from. But that old African told him that my ancestors are looking out for me. When same way you got karma go back generations, is the same way our ancestors is there protecting, from them. But when you make a commitment to go into this spiritual realm, I ran a lot of Dominicans as well. They call it Santa Canisca. Jamaican call it Obra, And then, of course, the voodoo. I forgot what the Haitians call it. Y'all put in the comments. But everybody calls the spiritual life something, and no one speaks on it. And they think that if no one speaks on it, and generations and generations, generations and generations and generations go, it will get erased, which it did today. Because they don't want you to know about it. Does it exist? Who knows? But the point is, the stories on out there. Now we have a real life one playing out with this brother right here, 607 Unc. They said he was doing a ritual outside, walking. I don't know if you've seen that, but they said he was out there. Look, they say he just sat there like doing nothing. Look, you see him? He's smoking. He's doing nothing. Looks like a picture. That's how powerful these spirits may be. If what 607 Unc is saying is true, that he's the one that reached out and touched 4 Extra all the way from over here. And there goes some of his offerings and things that he said he did to listen to this, right? Because I don't think y'all understand this. I'm going to say it really fast so maybe you can keep up. If I say a little fast, I don't want you to fall asleep. I'm trying to let you know that this is a sad day and hope the brother 4 Extra get well soon. But this brother prided himself on being a knockout artist. Said he went in the county jail and rumbled 10 men squabbles. Went to the next part, rumbled another 10 squabbles. I enjoy listening to the stories. Do I get into if it's real or true or not, a fake? The man said it. I don't have any proof that it's not, and I'm not going to go looking for no proof. Because what's in the dark will come to the light. But this man was so vicious with his hands. Then he went in there and got up on, 607 Unc. Because, yes, he disrespected him. Unc, you disrespected him. You know you did. But, that's how he does his thing. You understand? But everyone is not on that type of time, 607 Unc. Just like everyone is not on that type of time of fighting that you thought 4 Extra. Because 607 obviously says he's fighting a spiritual fight with you, and you're fighting a physical fight. So if what 607 Unc is saying is true, that mean he fired his first shot back at you to take away what you was fighting with. These is your breadwinner. These is your name, and now you done lost one, the power one, the main one. I feel your pain, my brother. You know, but that's why I'm telling y'all and reaching out to y'all out there, man. Stop fighting with each other. We don't know what type of weapons that we have. All y'all know about it, what you see on the movies and the videos, is the choppers with the switches. Let me take you on a ride. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna take you to the mind of a real murderer right now. I'm gonna take you to my real murderer. I'm in Lewisburg, right? And can you believe that a dude actually tried to come tell me that he wanted me to bring rat poisoning into the prison? He wanted me to bring in rat poison. You know, we got people bringing you balloons of weed, things like that. I even got knocked for trying to get some balloons of weed in. So you rat bastards and flip-flop wearing in public trolls that want to try and run and call the peoples. It already happened. It's already done. But anyway, I get caught bringing some balloons. So a white dude come up to me and tell me, yo, I need you to bring me in some rat poison. I give you $1,000 a balloon. That's good as hell. $1,000 balloon. You know what I mean? I said, nah. You know? So I sat him down and I said, yo, what's up? What's up with the rat poison? You got rats in your cell? He said, nah, there's a couple of rats I want to, eliminate. I said, what do you mean? I'm playing green. I said, what do you mean? He said, nah, they deserve killing. you know? This dude was planning on getting rat poison in the prison to poison another human being because he told. In other words, when dudes telling they get into something in the prison and somebody deal with it, they get a knife and they run and they physically do this. But this dude was so calculated, was so premeditated that he had it all planned out that he was going to find someone to get the rat poison on the street, find somebody on the street, and this is what they call a RICO. Find somebody on the street to bring the rat poison to whoever's going to bring it in. That's the third person that worked for him. That person bag it up, bring it up, and give it to the person's girl that's going to bring it. That's the fourth person, and the girl brings it to whoever the mule is. Where he tried to use me is what they call a mule in that situation. But now, when it comes up in there, he wants to poison his opponent when everyone else is fighting a physical war with steel and body and armor and blood and guts. This dude said he was just gonna feed them. He was just gonna make a meal and give them a bowl of food because they eat from anybody. They're worse than dogs, he said. If you're forgetting who I'm talking about, we talking about the rat bastards and flip-flop wearing in public trolls. This is how he felt, and I'm gonna keep it 100. This how we felt back then, man. They the worst thing on earth. Just a nasty taste to even think about one of them. Because you got to remember, at this time, I just got sentenced life with no chance of parole plus 20 years, and I just lost my brother. And now I'm sitting in prison, and I'm looking at the way, nah, I'm not going for too much, but I'm not doing that. But just to show you that everybody pick a different fight, look at 607 Unc. That's what he bought, his offering to feed the spirits that he's requesting to get at 4 Extra. Now, 4 Extra is all the way in California celebrating his 4th of July. And he's walking around with fireworks in his hand. I don't want to show it because he's cussing too much. But he's walking around with fireworks in his hand. He's saying he's going to blow Emma house up and he's going to do this and do that. And that's the energy he's putting out there. And 607 Unc is on the other side of the world. And he's sitting there, and he's being quiet, barefooted, no flip-flops in public. Meditating. And he's at war while 4 Extra was celebrating. But 4 Extra knew it was war with 607 Unc. But 4 Extra is fighting a whole different type of war because he wants to fight physically. And 607 said, nah, I don't want to fight you physically. I'm going to get you. It don't matter how I get you as long as I get you. Just like the dude in the prison. He didn't care if he poisoned him. You know what I mean? Just like the dude in the prison. He didn't care if he stabbed him. He just wanted him eliminated. Just wanted him gone. Just so you understand what that is. You can't get no more serious than that. This brother is saying that he was sitting out here making an offering to get back at this dude for what he did coming up on No Jumper. He threatened him with his hands. And, look at him. Do you think that he's into the spiritual life? Do you think that he's into voodoo, or as they say, voodoo or obra, Santa Caniska? And don't think that, because you don't believe something, it don't exist. Because you don't understand something, it don't exist. Because you don't know something, it don't exist. That's why I'm telling you, and that's all as y'all rat bastards want to say I'm preaching is, man, don't get involved. That's the only way to make sure you don't lose a fight. Respect others. It's all about respect. And that's where we at. This brother sit here and, oh yeah, I was gonna ride. I was gonna ride. Let me take it on ride. Let me take it on ride. So check it out. So now you got 607 Unc trying to get back at 4 Extra. 4 Extra playing with the fireworks in Cali. So 607 Unc wherever he at. So he's talking to the spirits while he's doing that. And he's talking about blowing up something. Do you think that made it easier for 607 Unc's spiritual realm to get to break down the defenses of 4 Extras? Physical realm, because 4 Extra was now promoting violence and death and everything. So the shields are down, and then in swooned what 607 calls his angels. But the very hand that he threatened them with, he lost. If that don't give you enough to think about, right there, the man praised himself, and his brand is his knuckle game. And then he threatens to get at this man, and this man turns around, and now he loses that very hand that he threatened him with. That powerful right blow that stood the test of time with 10 brothers walking into the tank. Do y'all really see how serious this is? And this was the outcome of that, so you understand. Him sitting on the side of the road, and 2 M80s just blew up in his hand. Come on, people, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Because if we was to believe what 607 Unc wants you to believe, is that 607 Unc is saying that his spirits weakened him and sat down 4 Extra, and he feel he's won this round or this fight because 4 Extra don't even have a right hand, much just the power punch of the right. Where people's even talking about stepping up and fighting for them. Family, we don't need to fight with each other, please. That's not... Yo, let's just take this as a learning experience. It was an accident. He lost his hand from an accident. From him playing with the fireworks, it was an accident. We all grew up. I grew up where every year you'll see on the news, somebody blowing up a body part with, fireworks, them M80s. I remember back in the day, and y'all ain't gonna want to hear this, so, I'm gonna give y'all 3 seconds to tap out. All right, now take this with you on the way out. Now we're gonna get a little graphic here, right? When I was growing up, right, they had these dudes that was sick. This is what you call mentally challenged, but we just said they was wilding out, right? These dudes was sick, right? They would take a M80 and tie it onto a cat's tail, light it, and let the cat run, and while the cat is running, the M80 is blowing the cat up. And nobody in the neighborhood thought that this person needs some type of mental health intervention We just said, little Johnny crazy. Little Johnny wildin'. See, that's where the mental illness stands from. You see another human being tie a bomb on an innocent animal with a heart and set it on fire by lighting that M80. And you don't think he's sick? You don't think it's time to get someone to talk to him? Nah, you say, nah, that's little Johnny, he wildin'. He always do crazy stuff like that. Like I said, I know this one dude, right? Cause we riding. I know this other one dude. I always know one dude. I know this other one dude. I know this one dude, and I know this other one dude. The other one dude, you know, we down there on Lennox, and he used to take the little kittens. He was a kid, right? He was about 12, 13 years old. The cat just had kittens, and he stuck the kittens, and every time I go there, there's a kitten missing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, somebody came and got it. I thought you was going to wait till it got a little older. He said, nah, we got to wait till it get old enough to take it away from the mother. I said, but you had 9. There's only 8, you know? So where's the other one? He said, oh, little Johnny threw him out the window. Little Johnny did what? Threw him out the window. And they act like that was normal. By the time I went downstairs to the store and nobody watching little Johnny, I'm walking down the street and he go cat come flying over, boop, land at my feet. Looked up, I said, damn, little Johnny, chill out, man. I mean, it didn't even faze me because I too was, you know, was traumatized from being subjected to this. And now I know it's trauma. Back then it was the norm. Little John throw a cat down, man, you almost hit me with that cat, dog. And the cat splattered out at my feet. That's how heartless it was. And that's why I'm glad that y'all didn't have to experience that, but now we don't need y'all to experience fighting and warring with each other. We all need to be here for each other, man. Listen, we beefing with each other and our kids is friends. You understand? Our kids is friends. Our kids going to school and we together and they playing after school and the mothers is even talking, but, you know, the male figures is beefing with each other. Like, where do we do that? We got to come together as a society. Am I saying anything wrong or y'all don't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? But basically, that's what this is about, man. 607 Unc is saying that he put the, you know, the spirits, you know, the ancestors over on 4 Extra from 4 Extra, threatening him with that right. He lost the right. This is what it is. I mean, sad time, but we shouldn't even be having this conversation, man. Let's hope that 4X have a speedy recovery, man, and 607 Unc, man. God bless you. Relax, man. Relax. Everybody relax with the rumors and the crazy conversations. You know, let's just tone it down and be respectful to each other as human beings. We're going to make content, but you don't go. But it is what it is. Subscribe to my daughter's YouTube channel at Unique Mecca Audio. Unique Mecca Audio. All right?
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
What?
Fresh out the can of 26,
yeah.
He back on the strip, getting back in the mix.
Yeah.
What he mentions a gift.
Right.
You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this.
Real.
Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube, you could go and visit.
Yeah.
Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn.
Real.
Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, make an audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s.